So we're going to head over into For the Culture. And I picked this particular story not for the necessary salaciousness of it, but because you, Brother Tech, in your daily work, you manage these like large scale devices.
Hmm.
And and I'm interested to get your perspective on if what they're saying is actually, is this how it's done? So, we all know what happened on January 6th, the insurrection, where a bunch of people, right wingers, tried to overtake the Capitol and change the election results. Well, it has come to light in the hearings that they are having. There are a lot of things that are coming out, but one of the biggest things recently is that the committee, the January 6th committee, requested text records from of January 5th and January 6th from the Secret Service. Well, looky here, text messages got deleted and erased, and nobody can seem to give a clear answer as to how this happens when they didn't get deleted until after they were requested a subpoena, meaning that it was going out for these. So they knew that they had to turn these over, but then all of a sudden there was a migration to a new system that happened just weeks after the attack. It was the way that they managed their electronic records. It left it up to the agents to decide what to delete, what to keep. And when they migrated over to these new system, these new devices, we all is lost. We don't have it anymore for those specific dates. So my thing is this how it works in device management? It doesn't sound right to me, but I don't know.
This is absolutely not how things work. You mentioned, yes, I do enterprise mobility management, and one of the main reasons why the systems I use and deploy are important are specifically for instances like this when data needs to be collected or preserved, depending on who the person is, what kind of data they're using, what their daily job is, things of that nature. It's um, to preserve data and to protect company data from being
In the
what's
wrong
the word?
hands.
Not necessarily in the wrong hands, but if I issue you a company phone, right, and you're supposed to use this for your job, we know that you are not going to only use this phone for your
For work
job,
purposes. Okay.
for
Yeah.
work purposes. Most people who are issued a company phone end up doing personal things on their company phone. So the systems that I use and deploy and manage make sure that personal data doesn't corrupt the work data or the confidential data, and that causes a data spill or data loss, which the whole reason for a data spill or data loss is to make sure the company's data is preserved, right?
Right.
So that goes into this whole Secret Service saying that, oh, in the process of migrating old devices to new devices or going to this new system, we lost some data. With the systems that I use, the whole point is not to lose the data, is to preserve it, right?
And wouldn't there
So,
be like redundancies and like backups to the backups
well, it
or no?
depends. It depends, right? I can't say what system Secret Service is using. Um, their system may have been to where the text messages are separate, and it was just a company policy to there was only a company policy around the text messages, not a device policy. If it was a device policy, there would have been redundancies and backups and whatever. But if it was just the group, saying, okay, well, this is how we're going to use text messages, then there very well could have been the Secret Service was like, oh, they want this information. We don't want to give it to them. So, all of a sudden it disappeared. It deleted. We deleted stuff
Poof,
because
into
it was
thin
part of
air.
this. Right, right, right. They could have very well did that if the device policy, um, the there wasn't a device policy for the text messages.
Okay.
These systems that I use, you can absolutely lock it down to where the data cannot be deleted if you turn that feature on. And
Okay.
I'm guessing the Secret Service or whomever was managing didn't turn those things on, or maybe, I get it. The Secret Service, they're called secret, right? So it kind of indirectly um, takes away their ability to be secret if at any time a state senator can just say, "Hey, we want to see this data." Secret Service like, "Hey, we're the Secret Service. You ain't supposed to see that data." But for them to say, "Well, since we're the Secret Service, we're just going to delete the data," you can't do that. Well, you're not supposed to be able to do that. If like for instance with Apple, when a government entity comes to Apple and says, "Hey, we want to see these users' text messages from iMessage," Apple is like, "Look, the way our phones are set up, we couldn't even see that, give that stuff to you if we wanted to because of X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C." That's not the case with the Secret Service. Secret Service is saying, we don't feel like giving you this data because there you may find something and that may kind of upend our whole operation as it relates to the trust that the president gives to us when protecting them. So instead of trying to go through all that, we're just going to delete these messages.
Yeah, because it says
So
something in the article about doing like factory resets. Secret Service has started to reset its mobile devices to factory settings as of January 2021, as quote a part of a pre-planned 3-month system migration. But I don't know. Anytime, like especially, I don't know. I would assume it's not a one for one, but on social media, when an outgoing presidency, once they leave,
mhm.
the Twitter account goes away, but they have to keep it archived. So if you go to any of the people in 44 in Obama's administration, it's like archived POTUS 44. They change like all of the names from the active, POTUS account to the archived POTUS account. So I would think that there would be some sort of procedures and protocols to protect against this.
There would only if the people follow them. Again, the
Yeah.
Secret Service, it sounded like they were like, you know what, we don't want to get caught up in all this, January 6th stuff. So we're just going to delete the text messages. I mean, it kind of simply boils down to that, right? The question you're asking is, can they do that, with these device management systems and policies? And the answer is yes, you can do it only if those policies are disabled. And I'm assuming, my assumption is the Secret Service, they kind of got together and was like, you look, we don't want to be a part of none of this. So we're just going to get rid of these text messages and blame it on whatever, blame it on migration, blame it on whatever the case may be. But y'all not going to see these text messages.
Yeah.
And,
Because it says they left it up to the individual agent to
right.
decide what to keep and what to delete.
So that leads me to believe that they never really had a device wide or device side policy on keeping, saving, archiving text messages. Maybe they had some other stuff, but the text messages, they kind of left that open. And I'm pretty sure, like I said, going back to my original point about if I give you a company phone, 9 times out of 10, you're going to use it for personal things.
Right.
They were using them personal text messages. Oh, not using the personal. They was using the text messages outside of what they're supposed to
The
be using the
purview of
phone
their
for.
job.
Right. And as a result, they was probably texting back and forth about January 6th, not thinking that that stuff could come into question.
This
And when
is
it
public
did,
property.
right, right. And when it did, it's like, oh, wait a minute. We weren't supposed to be doing that. Let's delete these messages right quick.
Let's delete not only the January 5th and 6th messages, but if I'm out here cheating or doing something I'm not supposed to, let me delete these two real quick because we don't want that to come out with the other stuff. So
which I'm pretty sure, like you make a good point. I'm pretty sure they deleted the January 6th stuff because the January 6th stuff would have probably led to some other stuff that Secret Service is doing that ain't got
that
no
they should
business they was
that they
doing.
should have been
So it's
doing.
like let's just jettison everything.
Clean house. We're going to do a factory reset. They will never know.
Hmm.
But that does open up a, broader issue. I suspect we'll now see some firm policies
You're right.
on data management of
Right.
text messages.
Tell
Maybe
them
they
tell the
figured
Secret.
what they had was like a blanket for everything, whether it
Hmm.
be email or text or photos or whatever. But I'm pretty sure we're probably going to see, we won't see it, but there's probably going to be some specific language surrounding digital communications.
Tell them to holler at me. I'll settle. I'll straighten them out.
Brother Ted got you.